Right, let me just check that this is going all right. Looks like it is. Yeah, I think we're live. Right, well, this live stream then, I'm going to be talking about the game last night. Now, I was going to do a live stream yesterday. Hello, who's just popped up in the chat. I was going to do this last night, but I mean, I was just so euphoric about well, you know what. But my God, yesterday was I in such... I don't know. I was just in such a good mood after that game yesterday. Hello to everyone that's popping up in the chat. Yeah, let's talk about the game. Now, someone's just said, oh my fucking God, the Colombians. And yeah, I want to start with that, actually. I do want to start about Colombia. Now, in the past few live streams and the past few games, I have sort of mentioned about how Tunisia and Panama especially, not necessarily Belgium, but the other two teams that we faced in the group stages, they were really fucking dirty bastards. Colombia, they must have seen both of those games and just thought, that's nothing. You know, they really, really went for it. And I mean, it wasn't even stuff that was just petty, really. It's like the way that they were scraping the penalty spot for Harry Kane's penalty, the way that they were taunting him, the way that they headbutted Jordan Henderson, they were throwing people to the floor. They were just doing literally anything that they could. Even their coaching staff had a massive, big issue with Raheem Sterling because he sort of slightly grazed against him as he walked off the pitch at halftime or whenever it was. It was just utterly, utterly ridiculous. So if you're a Colombian and you're watching this, your team were a fucking disgrace and you deserved fuck all from that. But anyway, England. Oh my fucking God, England, you nearly gave me a heart attack. Now, I put out a tweet yesterday and it was fairly bloody accurate that I couldn't have got, like, I needed so much shit after that. I just couldn't cope. But overall, I think England played well. I don't think that England were absolutely incredible, but I think in the first half, we were really good. We created a few good chances. We didn't put them away, though. Dele Alli had a chance. I think Harry Kane had a chance. Pretty sure somebody else had a chance as well, but either way, it wasn't a goal. Second half, I think for the first overall, first 60 minutes, I thought England looked pretty good. And then Colombia sort of kicked into gear a bit more, and it looked like England was sort of buying into this sort of shithousery that Colombia was doing. And that, I mean, the one thing was, when it got into injury time, and then there was like that 35-yard screamer and Pickford saved it, I was like, fuck me, because it came out of nowhere. There was no sort of like, oh, he's about to shoot. It was just, someone's got the ball, bang. And it was like, oh my God. So how Pickford got to that, I don't know. But then like a minute later, they get the equaliser. And I just thought, we're going out. It's going to go to penalties and we're going out. And if you were with me at the time, which I imagine none of you were, when it got into that first half of extra time, I was like, Colombia are going to score here. They do not look like they can't. It just looks like Colombia are going to score so easily, and England just fell apart totally. The second half, they came back a bit, but I don't think we looked like we were going to score whatsoever. And then it gets to the penalties. I'm thinking, shit. England have never won a penalty shootout in the World Cup finals ever. I don't think. I think they have in the Euros, but I don't think they have in the World Cup. And the first three Colombian players score, first two English players score, which I think was it Harry Kane and Rashford, I think it was. And then you get Jordan Henderson. And I just thought, oh, for fuck's sake, this is it then. This is it. This is the moment where everyone stops all that. It's coming home banter. And then Colombia, the next two penalties, they miss. And then Eric Dyer, of all fucking people, scores the winner. And I just... that's why he's in the thumbnail to this one, because Eric Dyer, don't take any sort of fucking joy from that game, really, because Eric Dyer was absolute garbage, right, in that entire time when he came on the field. But, he scored the winning penalty, so I've got to give him credit for that. But I don't really want to break it down like I usually do, sort of like positives, negatives, because to be honest, I don't really fucking remember, because it was last night. And like I said at the start of this, I don't know if anybody was watching then, but I do apologise that I did it today, but I don't think I could have done last night. Literally, it would have been however long of just me going. So there you go. But yeah, I want to talk more about Sweden, because... yeah, we got through Colombia, and on paper you would say that Colombia is a stronger side than Sweden, but I think the problem is we barely got through Colombia. Now, were we unlucky to concede that goal? Yeah. I mean, I think if Trippier did a little better, that wouldn't have gone in and we would have won the game 1-0. I wouldn't have said that we won it comfortably, though. But Colombia didn't really play in the way that they usually play. Obviously, they didn't have James Rodriguez, which, I mean, if that's how the game went without James Rodriguez, I dread to think how it would have gone with James Rodriguez. But Sweden are totally different, because I believe the Sweden game was also on the other day when they were playing Switzerland, and I did watch it. It was an absolute hash game. It was fucking boring. But Sweden are in a similar sort of position to England, in the sense that I'm pretty sure that they've won every game so far except for one in the group stage. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. They might have drawn one. And the team that they lost to was Germany. But the thing is, Germany were actually quite lucky in that game. If it wasn't for that world-class free kick from Toni Kroos that I mentioned in a previous one, Sweden would have drawn that game, and they probably would have deserved it. They probably would have even deserved to have won that game. And I do believe as well that England's record against Sweden isn't great in the slightest. Now, I think we've come across them 15 times, and we've beaten them twice. Now, that's not a good statistic. That's really not a good statistic. And that sort of worries me, because you would expect England to beat Sweden, especially that, you know, with the fact that they don't have Zlatan Ibrahimovic. However, they've looked good, especially at the back, you know, with I have a message. It can wait. Is it Gronkvist? I think it is. And I know that they've got Lindelof, and Gronkvist might be the striker, actually. Or it might be a different player altogether. But anyway, they've got certain people in that defence that makes them fairly solid. And I'm not sure if they keep holding that deep line, if England will be able to get through that. Sterling, again, he needs to be dropped for that game. I think Rashford is more likely to get around that Swedish defence, particularly because Lindelof is in that defence, and Rashford obviously knows Lindelof from Manchester United. And I think Dele Alli needs to be dropped as well. He's got a knock again, hasn't he? So it's not looking good for him. I don't want to see Loftus-Cheek come in. And I do think that Ashley Young needs to have a rest as well. I thought Danny Rose was probably the best sub that came on yesterday. So, especially with that chance that he had. But yeah, I am nervous for this game, guys. I really, really am, because, listen, I jokingly have got involved with the whole "it's coming home" thing. I don't actually think that it is. I think most people don't actually think that it is. And before this tournament, if you'd have told me that England would get out of their group fairly easily, they would have won a knockout game, and then they would have gone out in the quarterfinals, I'd have said, do you know what? That's great. That's progress. That's exactly what England need to be doing at this stage. And then they can, you know, have more practice in the next Euros, and then in the next World Cup, they can go a bit further, and so on, so on. And then eventually maybe win it. But we should beat Sweden. That's the annoying thing. We should beat Sweden. So I think the semis is the least that we should get to now. But I don't know if we can. I don't want another game like Colombia, because that was just heart in your mouth. Oh my fucking God, how can we, you know, what are we going to do? Grey hair sprouting everywhere, you know, 30 fags in one, you know, all that sort of stuff. Several shots of vodka, all that sort of stuff. I hate vodka. Anyway, yeah, so I am proper nervous about that. But let me know in the chat here, guys. What do you think about the Sweden game? What do you think the biggest worry is for England? Because for me, it's penetrating that defence, and then, you know, somebody like Forsberg breaking out and scoring. But I will say this, actually. Yesterday was the first time where England's defence, I actually thought, looked fairly solid. Now, Harry Maguire was probably the man of the match. Trippier, apart from the mistake for the goal, I thought was also phenomenal. Kyle Walker, I thought was decent, and I thought John Stones brought it out from the back really, really well. Ashley Young was decent on set pieces, but defensively, I don't know if he's there. That's why I suggested Danny Rose before. So if we can keep that up, and we can keep the defense strong, and we still get, you know, the big shit house of a man that is Harry Maguire striding forward with the ball and sending it through to Lingard or whoever, then I think we could do bits, but I don't know. I really don't know. I just can't see it on penalties again. I don't want it to be penalties again. That would just be an absolute travesty. But yeah, let's go through some of these comments then and see what you think. People were screaming in the street. They usually do around my way anyway, but for footballing reasons, yes, there was a lot of that. They were vicious, yeah, they were. Once again, a rugby team turned up. Yeah, exactly. It really was. Yeah. It was an American ref who went easy, man. Yeah. Especially with that yellow for the headbutt. Now, it didn't look like the most vicious headbutt, and I do think that Henderson overacted a little bit, but at the same time, you can't headbutt somebody in a football match, and that's got to be a red. So, yeah, maybe he was a bit too lenient. However, he did book more than half the team. So, do you know what I mean? In my work sweepstake, I got Colombia, but I still wanted England to win because football's coming home. Well, unlucky that you got knocked out of your sweepstake anyway. One of my mates had Australia, so yeah, I think how he feels. The headbutt should have been a red. Well, yeah, like I just say, it should have been. I flipped my shit when they scored at 93. I know, it was so unbelievable as well because Trippier should have got to it. I think he did get a touch on it, but he sort of just headed it upwards into the net. It was so fucking frustrating because I was just thinking, just hold on, we're there. And after Pickford especially scored that screamer, I was just like, yes, you know, we've held on. Fuck, one's gone in the 93rd minute. Bollocks. Yeah. I missed the first 20 minutes because I was going around to my grand's to watch it with her. Well, to be fair, not a lot happened in the first 20 minutes. So, yeah. You get players who just wear the captain's armband, and you get players who wear it with pride and lead the team to victory. Harry Kane is one of those players, phenomenal captain. To be honest, I don't think he does much, really, in the actual game itself, especially in that game yesterday. He came in deep a lot. And that's something that Messi was doing in some of the Argentina games. And when a player like a Messi or like a Harry Kane, not that I'm comparing the two, but I mean a player who should be further up the pitch, when they do that, you nullify what they're good at. When you're a striker, you need to be selfish and you need to be further up the pitch. It's been a frustration with me at Manchester United watching them all season with Lukaku because he does that. And you just think, well, you're not going to be in the positions for you to get the ball and score then. So I think they need to work on that and make sure that Harry Kane is selfish and just stays further up top. But in terms of how vocal he is, I mean, if they can understand him, because his voice is a bit weird. I don't want to offend the guy. That was a bit too harsh. But yeah, if you are going to get a player who is going to come deep and try and provide service for Harry Kane, I think whoever's playing as the other striker, whether it's Sterling or Rashford or Vardy, I think they're the ones who need to do that. But yeah, no, I think he has been a good captain. It's like a good luck charm for him, though. He scores in every single game that he's worn the captain's armband. I think the record for England that he's got with the captaincy, I think he's got something like 12 or 13 goals in 8 or 9 games. That's a hell of a record. So hopefully he keeps that up. Honestly, I think he's got the golden boot now pretty much in the bag. I think even if England go out in the next round or in the semis, I think Kane will get it. Lukaku might get close, but I just think Kane's got it now. Yeah, even though he's from Newcastle, Pickford's a legend. He's from Sunderland, isn't he? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What's your opinion on how England would do going forward, especially as they have a sort of easy route into the final? Well, it's like I mentioned before. We should beat Sweden. Semi-finals, I'm predicting Croatia. I can't see Russia beating Croatia, but then again, I couldn't have seen Russia beating Spain either, which was mental. I didn't see any of that Spain game because I was out with my mates, but we caught the penalty shootout later on, and my God, that was mental. But here's the thing. Say we do beat Sweden and then we end up with Croatia. I don't want Russia in the semis. I don't want Russia because the atmosphere in that stadium, that's not going to be good. However, if Croatia are the side that knock Russia out and we play against them, pretty sure the Russians will be on our side and want us to sort of get revenge for their team and knock Croatia out. So maybe that might be a boost for England. Who knows? It's weird how little stuff like that can help. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. Maybe we'll be knocked out and absolutely battered by Sweden on Saturday. But who knows? There you go. Right. Do you think England deserved to win? Definitely. They were definitely the better team. They were honestly the better team. Like you saw, I mean, for the majority of the game, they did keep their heads intact, but they just didn't buy into what Colombia were trying to do. It's like when Harry Kane was taking that penalty, like they were trying to get into his head and he was just like, nope, and just walked off. And the other players were like, no, fuck off, get away from him, that sort of stuff. So yeah, they definitely deserve to win. I mean, if you're headbutting people and you're lumping people on the floor and you're moaning with the ref when he was right in front of it when you just literally rugby tackled someone to the floor, then you're a fucking idiot and you deserve nothing, frankly. But that's just, I mean, I've got no problem with Colombia as a country or the Colombian people, but that team last night was just fucking, Forsberg is playing very well at the moment and he could be dangerous against England. I agree with that as well, but I think, I mean, that goal that he scored against Switzerland was pretty good, but he's not done too much and he doesn't look like a player who's overly clinical, particularly in this tournament. So that might play into England's hands. On the other hand, though, we missed quite a few chances as well with the likes of Sterling, Lingard, Dele Alli, Harry Kane. Rashford missed an awful chance. Well, no, it was a great chance, but it was awful that he missed it. So as long as we're more clinical than them, we should be okay. But it's just, it's just getting out and around that defence of the Swedish team. Swedes are built and tall, but we've got pace, so it makes up for it. Yeah, it is sort of... they should nullify each other in a way. And like I mentioned earlier, I do think that we're fairly solid at the back based on how we performed in that game. And I don't think Sweden is going to offer that much going forward. So as long as we just keep hammering at them and just keep knocking at the door, then on paper we should get through. And I can see somebody like Lingard, just getting through and dragging defenders out and making room for somebody like a Harry Kane or a Marcus Rashford to get through and score one. I'm not expecting a high scoring game, though. I'm really not. I'm expecting it to be 1 or 2, maybe 1-0, 2-0 at the most, pretty much. I just don't want fucking penalties again. I don't know if I can take it. We will beat Sweden. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We played it round the back way too much. Yeah, I noticed that, particularly in extra time. Because I was just thinking, right, well, hang on, you've only got 15 minutes here, and you're just passing it between Pickford, then to Maguire, then to Stones, then to Walker, then to Pickford, then to Stones. And then you're passing it to Dyer, and he's passing it back. And it's just like, get it up the fucking pitch and put it in the back of the fucking net. You've got one job. You haven't got time to be pissing about like this. So, yeah, that's something that Southgate needs to tell his team. That was the other frustrating thing, because we were only 1-0 up, and it looked like they were just trying to see out the game. You can't do that, especially against a side like Colombia. You can't do that. You have to make sure that you have a comfortable lead of 1, 2, 3-0. You can't, 2 or 3-0. You can't just leave it at 1, because otherwise you get a 93rd minute equaliser. But anyway, Sterling, Walker, and Henderson all messed up. Walker was especially awful. I think Dyer was worse than Henderson, to be honest, and I don't think Walker was overly bad. But Sterling was pretty much non-existent in that game, from what I remember. I don't know why he's still in the starting 11. It's got to be Rashford or Vardy for me, particularly with how Vardy was playing in extra time. It took him a while to get into the game, but he got into the game at some point. And I know he was offside and he missed that chance, but it looked like he could have scored. Someone just said, do you think Sterling should be dropped for Sweden? Yes, I do. I feel like Maguire got a bit too angry when the Colombians were trying to piss the team off. Yeah, he did. But I mean, at the same time, you can't blame him. If they keep going on and on and on and on, I don't know many people that would not, just keep their head and just not snap. I would have done. I probably would have snapped a hell of a lot sooner. So, fair play that it took him as long as it did for him to snap. What's your opinion on Neymar? Do you think he deserves to win the World Cup with Brazil? No, I don't. Neymar is a player who, in my opinion, has an incredible amount of talent, but he wastes it by being selfish with the ball and on the pitch, by diving and going down in the easiest way. And overall, from what I've seen, both for PSG and for Brazil, is he's a spoilt brat, basically. Just because you have a £200 million price tag, so what? Prove it on the pitch. Don't just act like you're the shit and then just dive at every opportunity, cry after winning a group stage match. Like, I get that you'd be happy, but you just won a group stage match and you're Brazil, you should be getting out of the group. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I think he's an absolutely quality footballer, but I just think his attitude is fucking shit. And for that alone, I don't think he deserves to win the World Cup with Brazil. And then again, I don't think Brazil have played to their potential with the squad that they have. Could they win it? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's either going to be France or No, it'll be France and Brazil, I'm assuming, in the semi-final. Yeah, I reckon Brazil will beat Belgium, and I reckon France will beat Uruguay. Yeah, so that'll be a good semi-final. But I can see France beating Brazil. I really can. If England were to go all the way, hypothetically, I would predict an England-French final. So, yeah. What will you do if we win? Oh, mate, I can't say because it'll be illegal. Did you see that ludicrous display last night? Good one. IT crowd reference. Do you think James would have changed the game? Yes, definitely. As long as he was fit throughout. If he went off early like he did, I can't remember who it was against now, but in one of the other games, then no. But I do think he would have been the difference for Colombia. I was wanting defenders to come on towards the end of the second half before the Colombian goal. Well, that's the thing. He brought Dyer on, and I thought that was strange because it unbalances the team because you have Lingard and Ali who are further up the field, and then you have Henderson as the one sort of holding midfielder. If you were going to make a change like that, then you should have brought on Loftus-Cheek for Dele Alli or something like that, because it wouldn't have affected the balance of the team. And I think England took a few moments to adjust to that, and straight away Dyer gave the ball away, nearly put Colombia through. So that was a problem for me. I think in terms of defenders, yeah, maybe switch some of them out. I think Kyle Walker had to go off. I think Ashley Young had to go off in extra time because their legs are totally gone. But you're right, in the second half, I do think that maybe one or two players who came on shouldn't have, and some of the players that went off shouldn't have. No, some of the... Yeah, okay. I can't remember what I said now, but I'm fucking out in my room. But anyway, you guys know what I mean. This game was important to teach the young players not to rise to the other team when they are trying to piss us off, because they will get yellows like Henderson did. Yeah, Henderson was a bit stupid with that, I must admit. I don't understand why he did that. He really shouldn't have done that. But luckily, it didn't cost us for the next game. Because based on how Dyer performed, I think we need Henderson ahead of Dyer. But yeah, I think they'll know in future. But I think the one thing that the team learned as well is that you can actually win a fucking penalty shootout. Oh, do you know what? I've got to admit, though, as much as I've been slagging them off, the Colombian team, Cuadrado's penalty was probably the best one, I think. That was like an absolute bullet. I would, honestly, if that hit Pickford, it probably would have took his arm off. So, that was a great penalty. Dyer's was crap, considering it was the winner. It was actually awful, but it is what it is. Anyway, Kane plays his fouls very well. He puts his leg close to one knock, and he's down with a free kick. Legend. Yeah, exactly. I do like that. I do like that a lot. I think a fair few of the England team have been given that sort of instruction as well. I think when Jesse Lingard went down a couple of times, it was a similar sort of thing, and you notice it with a few of the other players as well. It's not necessarily that they play for fouls and it's just like they dive easily, but I think they know how to win a foul. Loftus-Cheek is very good at that as well. Not that anyone should care, but it's my birthday, and that was a nice birthday present. I don't think we'll win, but that'd make my year. Well, happy birthday for, I assume, yesterday. So yeah, happy birthday to you. And I'm glad that they won, because if they went out, that would have been a bit shit. Yeah, I'm a footballer from Croatian national team. Can you please check my channel? Well, you're not though, are you? Are you? The actual Croatian national team. Why do I not believe it? Did you see Ian Wright's celebration after the game? Yeah, I did. I think I liked it on Twitter. Oh my God, it was so funny. I mean, that's the passion that England fans have. That's what we should be like as a nation, not just, oh, we're shit, we're going home. And it hasn't felt like that this time. So, that's what I was like, to be fair, when Ian Wright and Gary Neville and Lee Dixon were like that. Oh, I was the same. When's the podcast coming? Not sure yet. I'll keep people updated about that. Do we think we left the subs till it was a bit too late? Yes, definitely. That was a weird one for me, because I thought 80th minute, we've not made a sub yet. Now, for extra time reasons, that makes sense. For trying to see out a game, as we were, didn't make sense. I just thought, what the fuck is Southgate doing? Why hasn't he brought on players yet? This is really, really fucking strange. And obviously it cost us in the end, but we won in the end. So, yeah. Gareth Southgate has amended himself. I don't think he needed to amend himself. I thought resting the players against Belgium was was a good thing to do. And even though we lost, it didn't matter. That game had, well, apart from where we would go in, in the rest of the World Cup, it didn't really matter at all. So I thought it was all right. What do you think about Messi and Ronaldo going out on the same day? Mental. I mean, that Argentina game against France was great. That was probably up there with the Portugal-Spain game earlier on in the group stages. That was, well, I mean, that was expected. I expected France to beat Argentina, but when Portugal went out, that was a bit of a shock. I know that Uruguay are a good team, but I honestly thought that Ronaldo and that Portuguese defense had enough. I really, really did. But I just think that whilst overall, I think Portugal are the better side. And look, I know that they've got Godin. I know that they've got Suarez and Cavani, but I do think that Portugal side is a better team. But I just think that Uruguay are put together a lot better. But yeah, it's a shame that both of those two have gone because that's probably their last World Cup. I mean, we might see Ronaldo in the Euros. I'm going to assume that Messi's going to retire from international football now. So it's not likely that we're going to see him again. So that's a bit shit. But if it means that England win it, then I couldn't give a fuck. Japan-Belgium match was so insane. I know, I was watching it. Well, I watched the second half in the pub with my friends and it was 2-0. And I just thought, hey, how's Japan done that then? And then I was thinking, well, thank God England didn't face off against Japan. And my mate at that point put a bet on for Japan to win. And then Belgium got a goal. And then they got another goal. And then it was like the last kick of the game. And instead of just playing it out and going for extra time, I think it was Honda, looped it into the box. Belgium got it out again. De Bruyne's on the break. Excellent play from Lukaku, dragging the defender away. A dummy. Chadley puts it in the back of the net. Honestly, when that happened, I looked at my friend who had made that bet for Japan to win, and I just heard the Titanic music, thinking that he'd just lost a sizable chunk of money. So that was quite funny. So I enjoyed it for that reason. But yeah, it was a hell of a second half, I must admit. When Dyer came on, I was like, where the hell is Vardy? Yeah, exactly the same. Thankfully, he came on a bit later on, though. Harry Maguire seems like a decent guy, seeing as he dived, then admitted it. Yeah, and that was good because Colombia were going to use that to their advantage, really. You think Colombia will retaliate? I don't know. I really don't know about that one. I mean, we know how the Colombians have been with players who haven't performed well in the World Cup before. So let's hope it doesn't go to that extreme. But, I think they'll do well in the future. I mean, they're a good side. So they need to get rid of Falcao, though, because he's so past it. Where's Italy? At home. I was also shocked Portugal got defeated. They are European master for a reason, actually. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was surprising. I expected them to get at least to the quarters. I didn't expect them going out in the round of 16, but then again, look who else is out. I mean, Argentina's out. Germany went out the group stage. Spain's out. I mean, Russia breezed through their group pretty much. So, yeah, it's been a bit. Poland are out as well. It's been a mental one so far. And the chat has just disappeared. I don't think England wanted to win against Belgium. I don't think Belgium wanted to win against England. I don't think either team wanted to win, to be totally honest. So, worked out for us, I guess. Right, it's coming up to half an hour. I keep going way too long with these things, so I'm going to call it a day there now, guys. But I will be back. I'm not sure when, but if it's a bit late, then I may do one Sunday or Monday after the game because I'm gonna be out basically when I'm watching the quarterfinals, and if it's a sad result, I don't think I'll want to go on YouTube, and especially when it's live and talk. So, yeah. Oh well. What is your favourite team if it weren't England? Honestly, I was back in Spain, which is ironic. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you. Sorry that it was a day late, and thank you for sticking with me. I know somebody tweeted me last night asking where it was. But yeah, I will be back doing another live stream whenever, maybe after the game, maybe not, maybe a few days later. I don't know. I'll try and be a bit, I don't know. I'll just try and get it to you as soon as possible. But yeah, hopefully we'll be through to the quarterfinals. No, sorry, the semi-finals. We're in the quarterfinals. It's weird saying that. I can't get used to it. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I shall see and I shall see you in a bit. So yeah, take care.